be a part of this body that is in true partnership with that work and the entire disability community. So I'm just glad to be here. It's a pretty fun moment for me right now. So thank you.
Thank you, Council Member. Resolution 466 recognizes Tina Butts. Clerk, could you please read Resolution 466? Oh, I'm sorry, Councilwoman Adams had her hand up.
Oh, well, Mr. Harrington left, but I did want it to go on record that I can remember when there were not as many barrier-free buildings in the school district. And so when the new buildings were built, they are all barrier-free. And before that was at a building where the only building that kids that were junior high age could go to school that had to be in a wheelchair or on crutches, had some kind of mobility issue. They only could go to McTighe or to Rogers. And now they can go anywhere. So we've really come a long way, and I'm really happy about this 100 years, and may they be able to do this work for as long as it's needed. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilwoman, and thank you for your leadership on the school board when it came to building those schools. Councilmember Meldon.
Sorry, one more thing, Council President Cherry. Just want to, the Tim Harrington, who just left the screen here, truly is one of the pretty, I'm not even sucking up now because he's off the screen, so it's perfect. Truly is a pretty meaningful leader in our community, and I believe he was one of the first students with disabilities to go to Start High School. So, Dr. Adams, I thought you might appreciate that. Some of that TPS history, but I think he was one of the first at Start High School. He definitely grew up in that West Toledo Library Village neighborhood. And so I know I'll make sure that he goes back and listens to your comments, Dr. Adams, and he'll appreciate that context and history.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Resolution 466 recognizes Tina Butts. Clerk, can you please read Resolution 466?
Yes, Council Members McPherson, Adams, and Williams present Resolution 466, recognizing the exemplary community leadership and service of Edwina Tina Butts, founder of the movement, her community activism, and voter outreach events such as Souls to the Polls, aimed at engaging the community to become more actively involved in the election process. Whereas Edwina Tina Butts appears before the City Council to be recognized as an exemplary role model for what an individual, regardless of the disadvantaged station born to, and whose adolescence resembled a forced run through a brutal, tragic, and unmercifully gauntlet of emotional and mental assaults, can rise to with nothing more than a single-minded focus, sheer will, and stubborn self-determination. Whereas due to the death of her father and the illness of her mother, her family was divided through the court system, whereas from the ages of 12 to 14, she lived with her aunt and uncle and revered them as mom and dad. Then at the age of 16, through her determination, united her immediate family under one roof, became the sole provider of her family, and assumed the role matriarch, making sure that her sister and brothers had a chance to graduate from high school and go on to higher learning if they so choose. Whereas today, the character and reputation of Miss Butts has earned throughout the community is founded on the mountain of accomplishments and success she accumulated using nothing more than a single-minded focus, sheer will, intellectual wit, thirst for knowledge and education, and stubborn self-determination. Whereas this record of accomplishment included working at Toledo Jeep, attending the Toledo Academy Beauty School while working part-time at the Northwest Ohio Development Center and acquiring a professional license in chemical dependency, becoming a sole proprietor by buying and owning her own beauty salon, attending the University of Caldwell Bankers, Staudenberger College, Honduras College to become a licensed realtor, earning the ranking of third top salesperson in the nation for Danbury Realty, and the title of leading sales agent, and finally, for the last 5 years, is part owner of the bail bond business T-Bonds, whereas known as a conqueror. The life experiences and circumstances of Miss Butts, in addition to realizing if God had not been on her side, she would not have made it, caused her to plunge into a new dimension of self-sacrifice for others, including becoming active in the church's nonprofit organization, where she serves as the housing consultant and marketing specialist for Friendship New Vision Incorporated, and through her business, T-Bonds, making donations to many causes that support the needs of children and the business takes an active role in community events. Whereas in addition, she recognized that in order to engage elected officials to prioritize addressing the needs of those caught in a chronic cycle of poverty, it was very important to engage specifically members of the minority community in the political process by valuing and exercising the right to vote. Whereas Ms. Butts expresses this truth through her often repeated mantra, if you don't vote, others will make decisions for you. We must save ourselves. Whereas, leading by example, Ms. Butts founded the Movement, a nonprofit group of energetic grassroots advocates that the purpose of which is to empower our community through voter education and voter registration, increase minority and youth adult voter participation in Lucas County, to bring political empowerment through social engagement, assist the underprivileged by aligning them with community resources, and to create a more meaningful, fun experience through voting. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the City of Toledo that this council hereby recognizes Edwina Tina Butts for exemplary community leadership and service, founder of the Movement, for community activism and voter outreach events such as Souls to the Polls, aimed at engaging the community to become more actively involved in the election process.
Suspension.
Adams, Cherry, Delaney, Gaddis, Hobbs, Colmize, Ludeman, McPherson, Melvin, Moline, Whitman, Williams. Motion carried.
Passage.
Adams,
Yes.
Cherry,
Yes.
Delaney,
Yes.
Gaddis,
Passage.
Yes.
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 Hobbs,
Yes.
Colmize,
Yes.
Ludeman,
Yes.
McPherson,
So what they're doing
Yes.
is giving recognition to Tina Butts
Yes.
for
Moline,
the work she
Yes.
does for the movement,
Whitman,
which is
Yes.
very
Williams.
much deserved.
Yes.
resolution adopted.
All the claps.
Councilwoman Williams has her hand up.
I was a co-sponsor on this. It was a pleasure to have co-sponsor this with Councilwoman McPherson and Dr. Adams. I appreciate you asking me to do this because, Tina, I definitely have always looked up to you ever since here it is. So I appreciate what you contributed and how stellar you've been for our community, especially for something that's so important as voting. And you know that our community has been disconnected from that aspect of our lives, and that decision making has been allowed to be taken out of their hands. So I'm glad that you have provided that avenue, and I appreciate the food trucks at the Souls to the Polls. So I definitely appreciate you and your activism for our community, and thank you so much.
That is one way. That is one way to get a person to vote is bring out the food trucks.
Right.
Councilwoman McPherson.
Congratulations, Tina. You are so deserving of this. And I want to thank you also for getting me involved and for opening up the eyes of many people in our community to get out and vote and the importance of it. And not just voting, but being knowledgeable of what is going on in our city as to how to vote and knowing the candidates and listening and hearing from the candidates. And it's because of you that part of where I am is because you have activated me to be active in our community. So I want to say thank you. And you know, I'm a huge supporter of the movement. And if there's anything at any time that I can do for you, I am here, definitely. Thank you for your work. Thank you for your support. And I look forward to more polls, Souls to the Polls, the food trucks, and all of that. Thank you.
Councilwoman Moline.
Thank you, President Jerry. Congratulations, Ms. Tina Butts. I just want to mention, as someone that lived at the early vote center this October, I can attest to how often what you did and how many. You did exemplary work. You really brought so many people out to vote, and you really taught and showed everybody, how powerful that can be. And I just really appreciate not just how many people you inspired to vote, but you really brought a wonderful energy with the movement. I know I always look forward to the weekends because there was music and there was food. there was just a great atmosphere. And so thank you so much for your work.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilwoman Adams.
Thank you, President Cherry. Thank you, Mrs. Butts, for how extraordinarily kind and supportive you have been in so many ways for people and issues that serve to improve our city. God bless you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilmember Comas.
Thank you, President Cherry. Hi, I'm so excited that you're here, and just want to congratulate you, of course. I'm not going to reveal to people what I have Tina Butts' name saved in my phone as, but it is a way for me to remember that if you need something done, then you call Tina Butts. And there's nobody really in our community, in my opinion, that has the ability to drive people out to participate like Tina Butts. And I'm just further impressed year over year with what you've done with the movement and taking it from just an opportunity to get people to go and vote, but also then to provide that education, as was pointed out by Councilwoman McPherson. So, Tina Butts, you're a gem in our community, really. I mean, without your work, so many people wouldn't participate and wouldn't know what's happening, and you are so vital to what happens in this city. So appreciate you taking time to be here. And I know I owe you a call, and I have not forgotten, so I will call you.
Thank you, Councilmember Comas. Councilwoman Whitman.
Thank you, President Cherry. Tina, I know my colleagues have spoke to your work in the community, but I know firsthand, I know the Preston family will always be indebted to you. You got us through a really hard time, and I'm just forever indebted to your character and to how you really supported us. And so, like I said, I can speak to your work definitely through Souls to the Polls, but also just for you and your personal work in your ministry. So you are well deserving of this acknowledgement.
Thank you, Councilwoman. And before I turn it over to you, Ms. Butts, I want to echo my council members and your Souls to the Polls, and just the resolution speaks for itself. I've been here 7 years, and that's the longest resolution I think Jerry's ever had to read. So if that doesn't say something in itself, I don't know what does. So just thank you for everything you do for our city. And at this time, the floor is yours if you would like to say anything.
No, I definitely appreciate it. I have, relationships with quite a few. I know me and Ron Luderman worked together at Danbury for many years and to the scene. But, I definitely, I thank each and every one of you on the recognition. But it's just so much work out here needs to be done, and even though with the movement and us getting out the vote and different things of that nature, at this particular time, my heart was broken, with the loss of my grandson. But I know God sends you a sign, and He's sending a message. There's just so much more that we have to do out here. I ask you as city council members desperately, I'm game to partner with y'all to try to make a difference out here in our communities. So, and with the movement itself, I couldn't be, it brings joy and tears to my eyes with the people that's really, really on the front line with us, rather we giving out Thanksgiving dinners, Christmas, and we in this to win, and just to see our kids on empty lots playing, from a baseball bat to now putting guns in their hands, we are out here and we're going to be determined to bring some type of facilities in each neighborhoods and, so the little smaller kids that's growing up have an opportunity with mentors and things like that. So I appreciate it. There's a lot of more work that need to get done. And I know that a lot of y'all on this call, that I talked to, that's ready to stand up, on the front line with us. And I just want to ask you all as city council members to partner up with us. Let's get out here. Let's help our babies because we got some. It's sad out here right now. It's a dark cloud, So, but I really want to thank my movement team, even though I was in a dark place in my life. They stepped up. They made everything happen. So I wouldn't be the person that's before you today, being honored for the recognition without them. They was like, Tina, let's go, let's get out here, let's do this, and then after the voting, we had to flip over to the Thanksgiving, and now we're in the Christmas. So, I accept the resignation and the award, and I definitely love to present it to our team. And I appreciate each and every one of you. It's good seeing you, Rod, and Nick, Tiffany, it's us. Y'all, we all there together. So let's just make a difference. We still building right now, and I done had over 45 people do voter registration. Right now, we at 650 strong in the movement. My goal is to keep us going, and we're grassroots in the community, and to see people come in here and be like, Tina, I want to join the movement. I want to learn more about voting. I want to get involved. You got young guys that's going through the judicial system. And I said, young man, let's work on you. Let's get you a job. They say, I'm trying. Then we partner up. We got people on this pathway, that are finding these young jobs. Sorry about that. So there's a lot need to be done out here, and I really feel that y'all have the heart to get out here and help us, and make some things happen. So we will be ringing your phone, Mr. Matt Cherry, Katie, of course, Nick, Tiffany, and Miss Williams, especially Sandra. She know I'm gonna write down on her, but I thank you, and I'm not gonna take too much of your time, but I will be calling on you, and hopefully we can get out here and get our neighborhoods, get these buildings, get something for these kids to do. So with that being said, thank you very much.
Spoken like a true leader. Thank you, Tina, and thank you for all you do. Have a great holiday if we don't see you.
You take care. Thanks, man.
Thank you. All right. I will now, at this point, turn the agenda over to Councilwoman Dr. Adams.
Thank you, Brother Gary. Clerk Denninger, please begin reading the second reading items.
Yes, the second reading items begin with ordinance 442, authorizing the appropriation and expenditure of amount not to exceed $100,000 from an unappropriated balance down the general fund for critical assessments necessary for the redevelopment of the Spitzer and Nicholas buildings, authorizing the mayor to enter into a project agreement for said purpose and declaring an emergency.
I move to amend by substituting a new ordinance.
No objection, so ordered.
I'll read the new title. This is the new title. Again, this is ordinance 442, authorizing reappropriation of funds within the Economic Development General Fund budget, authorizing the expenditure amount not to exceed $100,000 from the general fund for critical assessments necessary for the redevelopment of the Spitzer and Nicholas buildings, authorizing the mayor to enter into a project agreement for said purpose and declaring an emergency.
Emergency.
Adams, Cherry, Delaney, Gaddis, Hobbs, Colmeis, Ludeman, McPherson, Melvin, Moline, Whitman, Williams, motion carried.
Passage.
Adams,
Yes.
Cherry,
Yes.
Delaney,
Yes.
Gaddis,
Yes.
Hobbs,
Yes.
Colmeis,
Yes.
Ludeman,
Yes.
McPherson,
Yes.
Melvin,
Yes.
Moline,
No.
Whitman,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Ordinance passed. Next is ordinance 451, repealing section 313.12 of the Toledo Municipal Code and enacting new Toledo Municipal Code Section 303.998 entitled Civil Penalties for Traffic Law Photo Monitoring Device Violations and declaring an emergency.
Emergency?
Adams, Terry, Delaney, Gaddis, Hobbs, Comite, Ludeman, McPherson, Melvin, Mullane, Whitman, Williams, motion carried.
Passage?
Adams,
Yes. Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
Delaney,
Yes.
Gaddis,
No.
Hobbs,
Yes. Yes.
Comite,
No.
Ludeman,
Yes.
McPherson,
No.
Melvin,
Yes.
Mullane,
Yes.
Whitman,
No.
Williams,
Yes.
ordinance passed. Next is ordinance 457.
Councilmember Comas.
Thank you, President Cherry. Back in June or July, rather, ordinance 294-20, better known as Pay Day, was introduced by myself, council members Gaddis and Melvin. It's an ordinance designed to allow for renters to pay their back rent plus other fees incurred by a landlord during the eviction process in order to stay in their homes, meaning that the landlord loses no money and keeps the tenant in their property. If you pay your rent, it's only fair that you should be able to stay in your home. Tenants often face eviction even though they have offered to pay back their rent. Preserving housing stability is essential during a public health crisis, and everyone deserves a safe and stable place to live. Many households have experienced disruption due to incomes that have been lost because of the pandemic or delays in receiving unemployment and stimulus money to cover their rent obligations. When this piece was introduced, I was told by several members on this body that we should not move forward right now. In fact, one member said, "I don't agree with passing legislation that's going to entangle our law department and possibly rack up fees from outside our legal team." And yet today, just now in this moment, people who were against it because of that legal reason voted to vote for something that is already in litigation and was presented to us by the administration as saying that it will very likely go into further litigation. It is clear that the time is past for us to pass protections for people through this act, better known as Pay to Stay, and I would like to motion to bring Pay to Stay to a vote out this time.
So is that in committee currently?
Yes. So I'd like to relieve it of committee.
I mean, this really isn't the proper time. Can we do that at the end of the agenda?
I'll wait.
Thank you. Councilwoman Adams, if you could continue on with the agenda, please.
Thank you. Mr. Denninger?
Yes, under second reading, items is ordinance 457, authorizing the mayor to enter into a 3-year agreement for network infrastructure support, authorizing the annual expenditure amount not to exceed $479,000 from the Information Communications Technology ICT Fund and declaring an emergency.
Emergency?
Adams, Terry, Delaney, Gaddis, Hobbs, Comite, Ludeman, McPherson, Melvin, Mullane, Whitman, Williams, motion carried.
Passage?
Adams,
Yes. Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
Delaney,
Yes.
Gaddis,
Yes.
Hobbs,
Yes.
Comite,
Yes.
Ludeman,
Yes.
McPherson,
Yes.
Melvin,
Yes.
Mullane,
Yes.
Whitman,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
ordinance passed. Councilmember Gaddis presents ordinance 467, Authorizing expenditure not to exceed $8,840.61 from the capital improvement program for the Glass City Dog Park Improvement Project. Authorizing the mayor to execute the necessary contracts and declaring an emergency.
Suspension.
Madam Secretary, Delaney, Gaddis, Hobbs, Colmines, Ludeman, McPherson, Melvin, Mullane, Whitman, Williams, motion carried.
Emergency.
Madam Secretary, Delaney, Gaddis, Hobbs, Colmines, Ludeman, McPherson, Melvin, Mullane, Whitman, Williams, motion carried.
Passage.
Adams,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
Delaney,
Yes.
Gaddis,
Yes.
Hobbs,
Yes.
Colmines,
Yes.
Ludeman,
Yes.
McPherson,
Yes.
Melvin,
Yes.
Mullane,
Yes.
Whitman,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Ordinance passed. Now to new items from the administration. This is ordinance 468. Authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement for his case management software system. Authorizing expenditure amount not to exceed $15,000 from the Operation Grants Fund for the development of the software system. Authorizing the expenditure amount not to exceed $104,226 from the Law Enforcement Trust Fund for the remaining costs and declaring an emergency.
Suspension.
Adams, Terry, Delaney, Gaddis, Hobbs, Colmines, Ludeman, McPherson, Melvin, Mullane, Williams, motion carried.
Emergency.
Adams, Terry, Delaney, Gaddis, Hobbs, Colmines, Ludeman, McPherson, Melvin, Mullane, Whitman, Williams, motion carried.
Passage.
Adams,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
Delaney,
Yes.
Gaddis,
Yes.
Hobbs,
Yes.
Colmines,
Yes.
Ludeman,
Yes.
McPherson,
Yes.
Melvin,
Yes.
Mullane,
No.
Whitman,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Ordinance passed. Ordinance 469. Appropriating money for current ordinary expenditures of the various departments for the city of Toledo for the first quarter, January, February, and March of 2021, and declaring an emergency.
First reading.
Ordinance 470. Appropriating from various funds to individual accounts for the current expenses and other expenses of the city of Toledo for the fiscal year ending December 31, 2021, and declaring an emergency.
I refer this ordinance to the Budget Oversight Committee.
Ordinance 471, approving the capital improvement budget and road improvement budget for the years 2021 to 2025, authorizing the appropriation of $38,954,050 for capital projects and declaring an emergency.
I refer this ordinance to the Budget Oversight Committee.
Ordinance 472, authorizing the appropriation and expenditure of $715,000 from the Water Replacement Fund and $715,000 from the Sewer Replacement Fund, authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract agreement with DLZ Ohio Incorporated for professional program management services and other necessary work and tasks related to the implementation of the automatic metering infrastructure, AMI, and leak detection system, and declaring an emergency.
Councilmember Colmines.
Thank you, President Cherry. After talking more with the administration, I'd like to refer this to committee, and we will schedule a hearing to be held next week, so we can still potentially vote in 2 weeks on this piece.
Next is ordinance 473.
Sorry, hold on. We're not finished. I accidentally muted myself, so I apologize. It's my fault. That would go into the water committee, correct? Councilmember Colmines? All right, Councilwoman McPherson, you had your hand up again as well.
I'm okay with that.
All right, thank you. Floor is yours, Siri.
All right, next is ordinance 473. Authorizing the appropriation and operating transfer of $49,360 from the unappropriated balance of the Water Replacement Fund to the Water Operating Fund. Authorizing appropriation and operating transfer of $49,360 from the unappropriated balance of the sewer replacement fund to the sewer operating fund. Authorizing appropriation and operating transfer of $24,680 from the unappropriated balance of the stormwater utility replacement fund to the stormwater operating fund. Authorizing appropriation and expenditure amount not to exceed $49,360 from the unappropriated balance of the water operating fund. Authorizing the appropriation and expenditure amount not to exceed $49,360 from the unappropriated balance of the sewer operating fund. Authorizing the appropriation and expenditure in amount not to exceed $24,680 from the unappropriated balance of the stormwater operating fund for the purpose of contracting the services of an independent consulting firm to assist with the completion of the low-income water and wastewater affordability study for the Department of Public Utilities plant operations, authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract for the completion of said project and declaring an emergency.
Councilwoman McPherson.
I would like to refer this back to committee.
Okay, we'll do a slow roll on that.
Well, no, that referring it to committee, it automatically goes there.
Right, I would like to make the motion to bring it out of committee, and I'll call for the slow roll. So if you vote yes, you'll want to bring it out of committee to vote on it today. If you vote no, you would like it to go to committee.
Again, this is ordinance 473 for the affordability plan. Adams,
Yes.
Cherry,
Yes.
Delaney,
Yes.
Gaddis,
Yes.
Hobbs,
Hello.
No.
Hey, how you doing?
Comize,
Yes.
Ludeman,
Yes.
McPherson,
No.
Okay.
Meldon,
Yes.
Moline,
No.
Whitman,
Okay.
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
All right.
motion
That sounds
carried.
good. Thank you, man.
All right, we can continue with suspension, Councilwoman Adams. Oh, Councilwoman McPherson, you have your hand up again.
Yes, sir, President Cherry. I would just like to say that in looking, and I just want it on the record, with looking at everything with the water and the sewer and all of these, there are enormous amounts of money, and we had previously already approved an enormous amount of money for repairs. And we have to be reminded that we are still dealing with COVID and budget, and we're continuing to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars again for water, sewers over and over. And to me, it will seem to the public, to our citizens, that we are not planning appropriately in spending their tax dollars. I just want it so noted.
Mm.
Thank you.
Suspension.
Adams, Cherry, Delaney, Gaddis, Hobbs, Comize, Ludeman, McPherson, Meldon, Moline, Whitman, Williams.
In order.
I got you. I'm sorry, Councilwoman Moline.
Thank you. In that spirit, I think we should make a motion to do a slow roll call on suspension on this piece of legislation. So I make a motion to do a slow roll call on suspension.
On the 474, correct?
473.
473, I'm sorry. Right. So yeah, slow. If you want to vote on this today, you would vote yes on suspension. If not, you will no, and it would go first reading.
Adams,
Yes.
Cherry,
Yes.
Delaney,
Yes.
Gaddis,
Yes.
Hobbs,
Yes.
Comize,
Yes.
Ludeman,
Yes.
McPherson,
No.
Meldon,
Yes.
Moline,
No.
Whitman,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Motion carried.
So can I call for suspension now?
Now you need to call for emergency.
I go to emergency. All right. Emergency.
Adams, Jerry, Delaney, Gaddis, Hobbs, Colmize, Ludeman, McPherson, Meldon, Moline, Whitman, Williams. Motion carried.
Passage.
Adams,
Yes.
Cherry,
Yes.
Delaney,
Yes.
Gaddis,
Yes.
Hobbs,
No.
Colmize,
Yes.
Ludeman,
Yes.
McPherson,
No.
Meldon,
Yes.
Moline,
Yes.
Whitman,
Yes.
Williams.
No.
Ordinance passed. Ordinance 474. Authorizing the mayor to enter an extension of the ERP support contracts with Phoenix Business Consulting and Integration Incorporated for a period not to exceed 90 days. Authorizing the expenditure of an amount not to exceed $25,500 from the general fund for ERP AMS extended services. Authorizing an expenditure of an amount not to exceed $70,000 from the Utility Administrative Services Fund for extended Department of Public Utilities SAP AMS services. Authorizing a competitive bidding requirement, waiving the competitive bidding requirements of TMC 187 and declaring an emergency.
Suspension.
That's Jerry, Delaney, Gaddis, Hobbs, Colmize, Ludeman, McPherson, Meldon, Moline, Whitman, Williams. Motion carried.
Emergency.
Adams, Jerry, Delaney, Gaddis, Hobbs, Colmize, Ludeman, McPherson, Meldon, Moline, Whitman, Williams. Motion carried.
Passage.
Adams,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Delaney,
Yes.
Gaddis,
Yes.
Hobbs,
Yes.
Colmize,
Yes.
Ludeman,
Yes. Yes.
McPherson,
Yes.
Meldon,
Yes.
Moline,
Yes.
Whitman,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Ordinance passed. Ordinance 475. Authorizing the mayor to prepare plans and specifications, accept bids and enter into agreements for systems, applications, and products, SAP application, maintenance and support, AMS. Authorizing the expenditure not to exceed $550,000 and declaring an emergency.
Councilwoman Moline.
Thank you, President Sherry. I would like to make a motion to refer this to committee. I believe it should go in the Water Quality Committee, so it can be also discussed at the committee meeting upcoming on Thursday. Thank you.
Next is ordinance 476. Authorizing the appropriation of $700,000 from the unappropriated balance of the Stormwater Utility Improvement Fund and operating transfer of same to the Stormwater Utility Operating Fund. Authorizing the appropriation and expenditure amount not to exceed $700,000 from the unappropriated balance of the Stormwater Utility Operating Fund. Authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract for the completion of the stormwater billing update phase 2 and declaring an emergency.
Suspension.
Adams, Jerry, Delaney, Gaddis, Hobbs, Colmize, Ludeman, McPherson, Meldon, Moline, Whitman, Williams. Motion carried.
Emergency.
Adams, Jerry, Delaney, Gaddis, Hobbs, Colmize, Ludeman, McPherson, Meldon, Moline, Whitman, Williams. Motion carried.
Passage.
Adams,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
Delaney,
Yes. Yes.
Gaddis,
Yes.
Hobbs,
Yes.
Colmize,
Yes.
Ludeman,
Yes.
McPherson,
Yes.
Meldon,
Yes.
Moline,
Yes.
Whitman,
Yeah. Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Into an agreement for the space configuration and.
Jerry, we didn't get your motion. You froze up on us at the end, so I think everybody voted, but you didn't tell us if it failed or not.
476, ordinance passed.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Ordinance 477, authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement for the space configuration and the purchase and installation of workstations for the Division of Engineering Services, authorizing the expenditure of an amount not to exceed $180,000 from the Capital Improvement Fund, authorizing the expenditure of an amount not to exceed $80,000 from the Water Operating Fund, authorizing the expenditure amount not to exceed $126,000 from the Sanitary Sewer Operating Fund, and authorizing the expenditure amount not to exceed $54,000 from the Storm Sewer Operating Fund, and declaring an emergency.
Councilwoman Moline.
Thank you, President Cherry. At the last meeting on Tuesday, our agenda review, there were a few requests that council made, one of them being what inventory do we actually have and own right now, and to date, we have not received that. So with that, I would like to do a slow roll call on this piece of legislation to hold it for another 2 weeks.
Okay, so we're going to go slow roll call for suspension again. If you vote yes, you will want to vote on this today. If you vote no, it'll be a first read.
Adams,
Yes.
Cherry,
Yes.
Delaney,
Yes.
Gaddis,
No.
Hobbs,
Yes.
Colmeis,
No.
Ludeman,
Yes.
McPherson,
No.
Meldon,
No.
Moline,
No.
Whitman,
No.
Williams.
No.
Motion failed. Next is ordinance 478. Authorizing the expenditure amount not to exceed $22,000 from the sewer operating fund for the emergency repair of the sanitary sewer at 616 Baldwin, authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract for said purpose and declaring an emergency.
Suspension.
Adams, Cherry, Delaney, Gaddis, Hobbs, Colmeis, Ludeman, McPherson, Meldon, Moline, Whitman, Williams. Motion carried.
Emergency.
Adams, Cherry, Delaney, Gaddis, Hobbs, Colmeis, Ludeman, McPherson, Meldon, Moline, Whitman, Williams. Motion carried.
Passage.
Adams,
Yes. Yes.
Cherry,
Yes.
Delaney,
Yes.
Gaddis,
Yes.
Hobbs,
Yes.
Colmeis,
Yes.
Ludeman,
Yes.
McPherson,
Yes.
Meldon,
Yes.
Moline,
Yes.
Whitman,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Ordinance passed. Ordinance 479, authorizing the mayor to enter into and execute necessary agreements with the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, as granted through the State Environmental Justice Cooperative Agreement Program, COVID-19 projects, EPA OP OEJ 2002, authorizing the mayor to accept and deposit grant proceeds in the amount of $200,000 into the Operation Grants Fund, authorizing appropriation and expenditure of said grant proceeds for the removal of lead service lines from drinking water system, authorizing the mayor to execute necessary agreements in connection with the grant, authorizing the mayor to accept bids and execute necessary contracts for the purchase of services and other necessary items to carry out the terms of this grant, and declaring an emergency.
Suspension.
Adams, Cherry, Delaney, Gaddis, Hobbs, Colmeis, Ludeman, McPherson, Meldon, Moline, Whitman, Williams. Motion carried.
Emergency.
Adams, Cherry, Delaney, Gaddis, Hobbs, Colmeis, Ludeman, McPherson, Meldon, Moline, Whitman, Williams. Motion carried.
Passage.
Adams,
Yes.
Cherry,
Yes.
Delaney,
Yes.
Gaddis,
Yes.
Hobbs,
Yes.
Colmeis,
Yes.
Ludeman,
Yes.
McPherson,
Yes.
Meldon,
Yes.
Moline,
Yes.
Whitman,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Ordinance passed. Ordinance 480. Authorizing the mayor to enter into a 12-month contract extension with Paramount Preferred Solutions Incorporated to provide third-party administration TPA services for the City of Toledo's Workers' Compensation Program, authorizing the expenditure of $98,730 from the Workers' Compensation Fund for said purpose, waiving the competitive procurement requirements under Toledo Municipal Code Chapter 187, and declaring an emergency.
Suspended.
Adams, Terry, Delaney, Gaddis, Hobbs, Colmeis, Ludeman, McPherson, Melvin, Moline, Whitman, Williams, motion carried.
Emergency.
Adams, Terry, Delaney, Gaddis, Hobbs, Colmeis, Ludeman, McPherson, Melvin, Moline, Whitman, Williams, motion carried.
Passage.
Adams,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
Delaney,
Yes.
Gaddis,
Yes.
Hobbs,
Yes.
Colmeis,
Yes.
Ludeman,
Yes.
McPherson,
Yes.
Melvin,
Yes.
Moline,
Yes.
Whitman,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Ordinance passed. Ordinance 481, repealing section 7 of ordinance 441-20 and declaring an emergency.
Suspended.
Adams, Terry, Delaney, Gaddis, Hobbs, Colmeis, Ludeman, McPherson, Melvin, Moline, Whitman, Williams, motion carried.
Emergency.
Adams, Terry, Delaney, Gaddis, Hobbs, Colmeis, Ludeman, McPherson, Melvin, Moline, Whitman, Williams, motion carried.
Passage.
Adams,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
Delaney,
Yes.
Gaddis,
Yes.
Hobbs,
Yes.
Colmeis,
Yes.
Ludeman,
Yes.
McPherson,
Yes.
Melvin,
Yes.
Moline,
Yes.
Whitman,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Ordinance passed. Ordinance 482, declaring the necessity of providing sprinkling, sweeping, cleaning, and snow removal services for streets, alleys, and public ways in the city, providing for the assessment of the cost of those services, and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Ludeman.
Thank you. Before we go on to the next assessed services item, there was an item earlier on that was referred to the Water Quality and Sustainability Committee, and it was mentioned Thursday. And I went through my devices and found no committee announcement on that. Is Mr. Denninger, can you follow what's on there? Or all?
He has his hand up.
There hasn't been a set date and time for that committee. I just knew that these items were going to committee, so I was just letting people know that there will be one. I think that the comment on the date came from Councilwoman Moline, I believe, and she might be referencing another committee that's happening that day, which will be a committee of the whole on source of income. So that is set to be source of income. Committee of the whole will take place at 5 p.m. on Thursday next week, and then the water meeting is yet to be determined.
I guess my question is, does that have to be referred to a date certain?
It does not.
Does not. Okay. All right. Before this meeting ends, could you enumerate the committee hearings and the days? I've got everything so far scheduled into my calendar, but the water sustainability and accountability was not in there, nor was the committee of the whole that Mr. Colmeis just referenced. So, okay, thank you.
We're at 482.
First read.
First reading, thank you. Next is ordinance 483, declaring it necessary to improve certain streets, alleys, and public ways outside the downtown area of the city by providing street lighting, providing for the assessment of cost of that lighting, and declaring an emergency.
First reading.
Ordinance 484, declaring it necessary to improve certain streets and public ways in the downtown area of the city by providing street lighting, providing for the assessment of cost of that lighting and declaring an emergency.
First reading.
Ordinance 485, declaring it necessary declaring the necessity of controlling the blight and disease of shade trees within public rights of way, and for the planting, maintaining, trimming, and removing shade trees in and along the streets of the city, providing for the assessment of costs of those services and declaring an emergency.
First reading.
Ordinance 486, authorizing the expenditure of $15,000 from the capital improvement fund for the repairs and or replacement of electrical and mechanical systems at city-owned parks, authorizing the mayor to accept bids and award contracts for said purpose, and declaring an emergency.
First reading.
It had come to light right before the meeting that what was discussed last week at agenda review, that we might want to vote on this tonight. In other words, suspension, emergency, and passage.
Okay. Suspension.
Adams, Terry, Delaney, Gaddis, Hobbs, Colmines, Ludeman, McPherson, Melvin, Moline, Whitman, Williams, motion carried.
Emergency.
Adams, Terry, Delaney, Gaddis, Hobbs, Colmines, Ludeman, McPherson, Melvin, Moline, Whitman, Williams, motion carried.
Yes. Passage.
Adams,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
Delaney,
Yes.
Gaddis,
Yes.
Hobbs,
Yes.
Colmines,
Yes.
Ludeman,
Yes.
McPherson,
Yes.
Melvin,
Yes.
Moline,
Yes.
Whitman,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Ordinance passed. Under the court reports, this is resolution 487, declaring the intent to vacate a portion of Deepwood Lane lying between lots 10 of the Meadow Lawn subdivision and lot 17 in the Meadow Lawn extension in the city of Toledo, Lucas County, Ohio, and declaring an emergency.
Councilwoman Adams, before you call for the vote, I didn't get a chance to stick around at agenda review, and just for the record, I will be abstaining from this vote. This is my address. I did put the application in for the request, and if anybody'd like to come out and look at what mess is going on out here, I'd be glad to show them. But my driveway and my neighbor's driveway are basically an old street that we didn't know when we bought the properties, and ended up finding out after further review. And basically, we just want to vacate this portion so they can have their driveway is their driveway, and my driveway is my driveway. And I don't know how I'm gonna. This isn't really for the vote, but the GPS even shows Deepwood still going through. So my street's a dead end street, and I live at the very end. But 25 cars come down here today, and they're lost. I don't even know where they're going. So just let the record reflect. I abstain. Thank you.
That's interesting.
Suspension.
Adams, Delaney, Gaddis, Hobbs, Colmines, Ludeman, McPherson, Melvin, Moline, Whitman, Williams. Motion carried.
Emergency.
Adams, Delaney, Gaddis, Hobbs, Colmines, Ludeman, McPherson, Melvin, Moline, Whitman, Williams. Motion carried. Adams,
Passage.
Adams,
Weird. It's so good.
Adams,
Yes.
Delaney,
Yes.
Gaddis,
Yes.
Hobbs,
Yes.
Colmines,
Yes.
Yes.
Ludeman,
Yes.
McPherson,
Yes.
Melvin,
Yes.
Moline,
Yes.
Whitman,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Resolution adopted. Council President Cherry, Chair of Zoning and Planning Committee reports. This is ordinance 488, declaring the vacation of a 10-foot wide alley running north. Ordinance 488, declaring the vacation of a 10-foot wide alley running north of Colburn Street, adjacent to lot 335 of now addition within the city of Toledo, Lucas County, Ohio, and declaring an emergency.
Suspension.
Adams, Terry, Delaney, Gaddis, Hobbs, Colmines, Ludeman, McPherson, Melvin, Moline, Whitman, Williams, motion carried.
Emergency.
Adams, Terry, Delaney, Gaddis, Hobbs, Colmines, Ludeman, McPherson, Melvin, Moline, Whitman, Williams, motion carried.
Passage.
Adams,
Yes.
Terry,
Yes.
Delaney,
Yes.
Gaddis,
Yes.
Hobbs,
Yes.
Colmines,
Yes.
Ludeman,
Yes.
McPherson,
Yes.
Melvin,
Yes.
Moline,
Yes.
Whitman,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Ordinance passed. Council President Jerry, Chair of Zoning and Planning Committee reports ordinance 489, granting a special use permit for a tobacco shop for a site located at 2903 Dorr Street, in the city of Toledo, Lucas County, Ohio, subject to certain conditions and declaring an emergency.
You want me to take over, Jerry?
Okay, Anthony. I can you hear me now?
Yes,
No.
Oh,
I read the title for ordinance 489.
He froze again. Clubhouse extension.
Adams, Terry, Delaney, Gaddis, Hobbs, Colmines, Ludeman, McPherson, Melvin, Moline, Whitman, Williams, motion carried.
Emergency.
Adams, Terry, Delaney, Gaddis, Hobbs, Colmines, Ludeman, McPherson, Melvin, Moline, Whitman, Williams, motion carried.
Passage.
Terry,
Yes.
Delaney,
Yes.
Gaddis,
Yes.
Hobbs,
No.
Colmines,
Yes.
Ludeman,
Yes.
McPherson,
Yes.
Melvin,
Yes.
Moline,
Yes.
Whitman,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Adams.
yes.
Ordinance passed.
I move to relieve ordinance 498-18 /490-20 of Neighborhoods, Community Development, and Health Committee.
Objection so ordered.
I'll read the title. Repealing Toledo Municipal Code Chapter 554, discrimination prohibited. Creating new Chapter 554, discrimination prohibited.
Hold to December 15th.
That completes our agenda.
What's on number 5?
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to relieve ordinance number 294-20 from committee.
Good one, Nick.
Unfortunately, I do not have that ordinance with me nor access to it. So I don't know the title.
It's the pay to stay. But
Yeah, I would ask Councilmember Gomez. I mean, I get your passion, but I would really like to vote on this at the next full council meeting, so the new council members have a little bit more time to review it as well, and my colleagues and your colleagues that have been here can at least review it over the next couple of weeks. Or even if you would like to have a special call council meeting, I would object to that. At the next agenda review, we could have a special call council meeting at 1:59 to relieve your ordinance and read that ordinance and vote on it if you would agree to that. Councilmember Comas.
No need to have a special meeting, then I will wait for 2 weeks. If you have, in light of that, I will say that if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me or council members Gaddis or Meldon on the piece. Sorry to do that, Jerry. Appreciate your attempt, but I would like to vote on that then.
Okay. Thank you for the compromise, Councilmember Gomez.
Okay,
Right.
that completes our agenda. Councilwoman Dr. Adams, first call.
I move to dispense with the reading of the Toledo City Journal for the City Council meeting of November 17th, 2020.
No objection, so ordered.
Okay, back to you, Mr. Clerk, Mr. Denninger.
Okay, Councilman Delaney, first call.
Good evening, everyone. Good to see everyone. Hope everyone had a very happy Thanksgiving and a safe Thanksgiving. Please remember to stay safe during our trying times, and that's all I have. Have a good night.
Councilmember Gaddis, first call.
I yield my time, thank you.
Councilman Hobbs, first call.
I'd just like to say congratulations to Miss Tina Butts and all her accomplishments, and City Council, Councilwoman Dr. Adams, Councilwoman Williams, and Councilwoman McPherson, recognizing her and all of her great accomplishments. Thank you.
Councilmember Colmives, first call.
Thank you, Clerk. I want to quickly address the affordability study that we voted on today and remind everybody what the attempt or what we're attempting to do through this. The Water Affordability and Consumer Protection Committee, which is not an official committee of council, meets regularly with members of the community from all over the city, who, as well as folks who work for various advocacy organizations for the lake or other organizations as well. But the group has determined that there are a lot of things that they would like to see changed in terms of what our utility does, how the billing system is managed, how much we're charging for water, a lot of these factors, but we're coming to find that there's a lot of data that exists that that we do not have access to, and nor do we know too much about. And in light of the way that we have changed how we interact with our neighboring communities and larger customers, and what that means in terms of how we bill ourselves, there's a definite need to perform this affordability study, and hopefully it will deliver us some information to better serve our community and better serve our water customers, which are all of us. And these affordability studies have been done in other places around the country, but nowhere near here. So we'll be the first in our region to do that, and that's really exciting and commendable on the part of our community members who have come together to bring this forward. So I want to say thank you to those members who supported the affordability study being done. I think it will definitely change and make better our utility and how we serve ourselves and our customers. And I know I spoke a lot about pay to stay. Yes, I am passionate. I'm very passionate about this, and I've been doing my best through this entire time of a pandemic to find ways to help our folks that are hurting in our community. And when we brought this forward, not a single member had any issue with this other than the fact that the legal department said that, yes, it might get litigated against. So that's the history of this. I chose to do what I did today because we have a duty to these folks that are having a hard time. And there's a member that said that we're making a lot of decisions on spending right now, while there are a lot of people in our community that don't have two pennies to rub together. And when members hold up some legislation for a specific reason and then do not exhibit that same behavior in their votes, I am upset. I'm upset because for months now, people could have had the ability to stay in their homes, evade eviction. Landlords could have kept tenants and reestablish those relationships. But instead, we didn't do that. But we did choose to take something that is in litigation that people display that they do not care for us to have to a vote today, and some members then voted for it. And I am upset. So I'm not afraid to say that to all of you. I hope that it means that you will reconsider how you think about pay to stay and be mindful of our actions because they have consequences on the people that live in the city. So thank you.
Councilman Ludeman, first call.
Just a few things tonight. One is, as mentioned earlier by Councilman Delaney, please everybody continue to stay safe. Just this last week, I think we have 7 neighbors who are now COVID positive. My brother who lives in Maryland is COVID positive. And we have a neighbor whose father passed away on Thanksgiving of the COVID virus. So it's hitting extremely close to home for everybody, I think. So please stay as safe as you can and follow Governor DeWine's rules and tell your friends to do the same thing. As far as also staying safe, I was pleased to see that we are reinitiating the traffic cameras to make it safer. It has been a injury prone and deadly last 8 or 9 months in Toledo with the traffic accidents. So hopefully when this gets put into place, we can make it safer as we move out of the COVID season. So everybody just stay safe out there. Thank you.
Councilwoman McPherson, first call.
Good afternoon, all. I hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I know it was different this year, and I just want us to stay focused on what we are here to do. As we look at the budget for 2020 and the things that are coming down the pipeline, I hope that we will remember that we represent the citizens of Toledo, and we are not voting on our behalf, but we are voting on their behalf, and that we keep that in the forefront. Thank you.
Councilmember Alden, first call.
I like that.
Thank you. First of all, I want to say to Councilman Ludeman, I'm sorry about the loss of a neighbor, and to see so much around you. I'm with you. I don't have as many personal stories like that, but I know so many people who do. We're all kind of dealing with this in different ways. Just a deep sense of appreciation and heartfelt. I don't know, just like a heartfelt sense of empathy to the family of Officer Dumas. Saw the story Thanksgiving Day. To see that an unexpected loss of life. And, we had the ability to center on here, and that's where I work now. Before that, I worked at Informatica, and I was at Toledo Hospital a lot of the time. And I remember being there on Halloween when some of the officers do the dressing up like superhero thing, and they rappel down the side of the children's. And then I read this story about Officer Dumas, and he was one of those folks. And so, I mean, I just can't imagine. So my heartfelt, apologies and condolences go to his family and all of TPD for sure. I think in the midst of these moments where there's so much heaviness and loss around us, I think it kind of hopefully often pulls out a deep sense of gratitude for all that's going on. And so in the spirit of that Thanksgiving, I just want to issue as public as possible a deep thank you to all those serving on the board of the Lucas County Health Department. Look, a year ago, none of us were thinking about this. And, to Dr. Ross and his family specifically, I just want to say I'm with you. I'll do anything I can to support the work that you're doing as a volunteer, as the chair of the Board of Health. And I'm not even going to comment on people protesting or not. I mean, I'm not, people can do whatever they want and say whatever they want. All I know is a year ago, none of us were thinking about this. None of us were planning on any of this happening. And this is the reality. And Dr. Ross wasn't planning on serving in this capacity in the midst of this moment. But that's what leadership is. I mean, we get thrown into things, and that man and his colleagues on the Board of Health have our community's best interest at heart. That's it. This thing takes sacrifice from all of us, and I don't know what it's like. I don't know what it's like right now to be a 17-year-old or an 18-year-old saying goodbye to my sports season as I go into college. I don't know what that's like. Okay, I'm not going to pretend that that's meaningless or frivolous. I know it's consequential. I know it is. But I also know that the health department board knows that as well. They feel the deep sense that this is meaningful and they're doing their best. And so I'm with them. I appreciate their service. I appreciate their work. I'll do whatever I can from my seat here to continue to support that and promote it. And I feel optimistic. Anyone who knows me knows I'm always going to be guilty as charged as being an optimist. I think we're coming out of this thing, but we have a lot to go through still. So I'm hopeful we can all stick together, like so many of you have already said. But appreciation to the board, in a real way. Thank you.
Councilwoman Moline, first call.
Thank you, Clerk. I also want to echo Council Member Meldon in my offering of deep condolences to Officer Dumas. To him and his family, both personal and the Toledo Police Department. He seemed very dedicated to public service and teaching and really just simply helping other people. And so he's a great loss to our community and police department and our city. I also want to, quickly, I don't know quickly, but, for colleagues that make assumptions on the reasoning for votes, there's many factors that come into play. And for me, I feel a deep responsibility for public safety in our community. And so I think, you have to factor in a lot of reasons why people vote as opposed to making assumptions. I also would like to comment on my no vote on 468, the case management software system. And I had no issue with what it was being spent on, but I will reiterate that I've not received a reconciliation of the fund that it was being expended from, the grants fund, and that I've asked for 6 months ago. And I said a while ago that I wouldn't approve any more expenditures from that fund until I saw that, and that was the reasoning behind that vote. Also, I wanted to, by referral, maybe perhaps, but council hasn't been provided the personnel schedule that's part of the 2021 budget in detail. So I'm requesting that our finance department provide this to council. I know some urgency in this since we are starting budget committee meetings, I believe, next week. So that's the personnel schedule that's part of the 2021 budget in detail. Another referral request I have is by way of policy or law or past precedent, does the administration notify council if any unclassified exempt employee leaves the city of Toledo? And then another referral I have is it appears the last time that city council approved any directors or commissioners was in 2018. And so I would like by referral to have a list of any of the appointed directors, commissioners, chief administrative officers of any city agencies that have been appointed since that date of September 2018. And then I'd also like from our legal department an opinion regarding by what time does the administration need to appoint directors of city departments or commissioners of city divisions, chief administrative officers of our city agencies, per section 61 of our charter and 119A of our municipal code. And then what are the ramifications, if any, if approval by council does not occur within that time frame? And then finally, on a lighter note, I also just want to recognize private firefighter Harris Edwards. He got quite some cool recognition in the Toledo Blade for his book, 365 Days of Happiness. I'm incredibly proud of him, and I'm proud to say that we're alumni of the same university, Miami University. But he's an incredible person. If you haven't met him, he played in the NFL. He's currently a substitute teacher for TPS, and he's one of our Toledo firefighters. So I just wanted to say good job and congratulations on that recognition. And that's all for me. Thank you.
Councilwoman Dr. Whitman, first call.
Okay, my time.
Councilwoman Williams, first call.
Thank you, Jerry. And thank you, everyone, for voting for Tina Butts. She really did work hard in the midst of tragedy in her own family. One thing that I would ask council and everyone that may be watching this meeting is to keep our kids in their thoughts and prayers. I own my center, and we're doing virtual learning, and a lot of the parents are struggling to help their kids through the school year. COVID has really taken a toll on our kids' mental health. And I think that we definitely need to uplift our parents and our kids. Mental health is serious in the younger kids because it causes behavior issues, attention span disorders. And I just want to uplift our parents during this time and, let them know that there are people that are trying to help. And I ask that each council member definitely uplift their own community.
Sorry, I got to turn this off now. We got to get ready
Child
for
care
CSI
centers are struggling
in about
because
30
they
minutes.
are trying to accommodate the needs of our kids. And